hello and welcome. My Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, welcome to your Path of True Love read for July 2020 or Timeless. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president, enjoying the Circle Productions, but your dad just calls me Mal. Hey, welcome back, my subscribers, my followers, my people, my malcontents, ready to rock and roll. 2 more of these Path of True Love readings left, and what a knockdown, drag out series this has been. I will tell you, I get a lot of people don't watch the Path of True Love reads as much as they watch the Twin Flames and the Soulmate readings, because it is, the Path of True Love is a knockdown, drag out. It's for those who really kind of get, it's like, okay, this is a healing path, let's do this, right? Tell me, hit me, hit me with your best tarot shot, as it were. Cool. If you are new to my channel, please do consider liking the video, subscribing to my channel, because I just keep getting better and better. I've been reading cards for almost 40 years. Next year it'll be 40 years I've been reading tarot. Started when I was 12, it'll be 52, but technically it's next summer. So it's just the catching up with all the technology and everything. So follow along, watch me grow and evolve. I keep getting better because, that's evolution. What are you going to do, right? That being said, this is a Path of True Love read, as I said. It is a warrior's path. It is your healing path. It is your ascension path, right? Your hero's journey, but through your relationships. And of course, the Path of True Love is not just about the sexual romantic part, but when you get the holographic nature of relationships, you'll get that when you heal something with your mother, it affects every other relationship in your life. It's just how it works. You don't water a petal, you water a plant, right? So it's worth looking at, having clues, tips, and hints. We're doing things different this time. We're doing a Celtic crossbred, really 10 positions, but I'm getting you 24 cards because I'm a Virgo and I'm good at what I do. So buckle in. These have been tricky, but helpful, right? Focus on your breath. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's a general read, right? And check your other signs. Let's see if we can get a kick out of this, shall we? Take a nice deep breath. All the decks that I read are in the description box all the way at the bottom with lots of cool links on the way down. We're going to start with the Caroline Myss archetype deck to represent either you, my Aquarian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, someone you are dealing with, or an overall situation, I can say, and/or, because it can be all 3 of those or any combination, right? Sometimes the mirror is direct and sometimes it's not. So let's do this. I know a lot of exposition, but I have to explain to the new people. So my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please can you give me 1 card in clarity for this Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the Path of True Love for July 2020 or Timeless? What is the dominant archetype going on here? Whether it's them, because that's going to be some of them, right? Whether it's somebody you're dealing with, that's going to be some of them. Or whether it's the overall situation or different combos of that. What is the archetypal story, the soul power being developed on the Path of True Love for the Aquarian Collective on the Path of True Love, July 2020 or time. Well, why don't we just go right for it then, shall we? The mystical family archetype of the exorcist, which is also the shaman, right? Woo! Embrace those shadows. Yes, which work. Do your Debbie Ford shadow effect work. The shadow attribute, fear of facing your own demons. Again, could be yours, could be someone else's, could be the entire path, at least for this month, right, is overshadowed by the shadow of a fear of facing demons. Well, what are our demons? They're our worst fears, but remember, even mythologically, scripturally, demons are just angels that have fallen, right? It's the alchemical thing. Watch Good Omens. Read the book first. Well, actually, watch the show first, then read the book, because you'll be much happier. Although they did a great job on the series, and oh, he's so cute. You know who I'm talking about. Okay, light attribute, freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses, and that's really key. And I will tell you, I don't call myself a shaman. The exorcist, like I said, there's a lot of similarity in the archetype there. Well, people like, when you do a house blessing, I'm moving into a house, you do house blessing. I'm like, honey, it's an exorcism. Call it what it is, right? You want me to bless it. You want to get rid of all the stuff in there. That's an exorcism. So freeing of negativity, destructive negative impulses. So huge opportunity on the path of true love for you. Yeah, but get your sword and shield, call on Athena and Heracles, and let's get this done. Before we get into the Celtic cross, I'm going to give you a, Healing with the Angel's Oracle card, Doreen Virtue. Who's the angel walking by your side through this, right? That you can call upon. Because the Exorcist, I mean, pea soup aside. Imagery. But Richard Pryor imagery, too, which is really funny. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the Saturday Night Live. It's from the first season of Saturday Night Live. I'm not going there. What is the healing angel? Breathe. My angels, please, and archangels, what is the healing with the angels available for them? The angel I see extending the hand and the wing to the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love, July 2020, or timeless. Trust, right? So how easy is that? How easy is that? But who is your trust? Where is your trust? In this exorcism kind of thing. Now remember, exorcism, well, you might not know this, exorcism really is extreme blessing, right? It's raising the vibe so high that it transmutes. It's a different way of looking at the language of alchemy, but even the language of alchemy is the language of spiritual ascension, if you want to do that. So can you trust in the process? Can you trust in the divine? You know, I am not Wiccan, but I still adopt certain lines of the Wiccan Read poetic version by Doreen Valiente, including the first line, by the Wiccan law you must in perfect love and perfect trust. Well, not so much because I'm not Wiccan, but perfect love and perfect trust of the divine alone, because everybody else has bad days. Let's move on. Now we're getting into the Celtic cross. We're going to take the daughters of the moon. We're going to get 10 of these. This will represent the voices and the point of view of the divine feminine, the divine masculine. I call them the gods and goddesses. Strike that, reverse it. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to get all 10 of them down at once, face down, and then we're going to clarify with a different deck as we go. Breathe. I felt that. My gods and goddesses, please. 10 cards. Celtic cross spread for the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for July 2020, or timeless. I'll pull them one at a time, please, my gods. Here we go. What covers this Aquarian on the path? What crosses this Aquarian on the path? What is at the core for this Aquarian? Oh, that was 2. Sorry. What is the core for this Aquarian on the path? What is behind this Aquarian on the path? What crowns this Aquarian on the path? What is before this Aquarian on the path? What lay before them? That one? That one is fine. What is this Aquarian's lesson on the path? How does the world see this Aquarian on the path? What is their highest destiny available, or what's going on, where they are on the hero's journey aspect of the path? One more time. That's the one. And what is the most probable outcome of this timeline of this lifetime for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love? July 2020 or timeless. Okay, much faster, right? They keep upgrading. It's like they keep giving me new software, and I woke up tired this morning, and I'm not anymore, so go figure. Okie dokie pokey. The Ascended Masters, we're just going to get these warmed up. Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, 4 suits. The Problem, Luck, Healing, and Grace. We'll use these to give a little extra clarity to each card as we take them. My Ascended Masters, please clarify this Celtic cross spread as we go for the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising. There you go, Venus signs. high vibe, huh? On the path of true love for July 2020 or timeless. Let's do this. Thank you, my ascended masters. Ready, Aquarians? What is the card that covers you? Ace of Pentacles. So where you are on the path right now is a whole new opportunity. Physical opportunity. Something that, a seed, right, that you can plant and tend and allow to grow in its own cycle, in its own way with your help and nurturance, or crush it under your heel, right? You haven't got to that decision space just yet, most likely, because it's still in ace form. My ascended masters, would you please clarify that for them? Joy. The card of joy, the grace card of joy. Dig it. Like I said, it's very, very, very high vibration there when these cards were hitting the table and things got really still and silent. And I get it, there's not a lot of activity going on. I'm doing it on a Sunday, but the energy got really silent. Like very stratospheric, like whoa, the stillness of air. What's crossing you on the path? The learner. Perfect. So this is a learning situation that you're in on the path of true love. 8 of Pentacles, sort of like put your head down, as it were, and get to work and allow someone to instruct you. You know, I love this card because it is a crone over here teaching a maiden how to make a blanket, and the blanket is over here, and you can see line by line she's teaching her, I should say row by row, the warp and weave of it all, right? Passing on her knowledge and wisdom with a blanket that she's already made, right? To prove her work. So, you know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just find somebody who did what you did, who did what you want to do, right? And kind of learn from them, right? I think Tony Robbins said that. God, I would climb him if he wasn't married with children. Breathe. My ascended masters, please clarify this 8 of Pentacles. And okay, fear of inadequacy, which, by the way, when you're in a process of learning is totally necessary, right? Like if you were gonna, oh my God, I could never learn to play an instrument. No, I tried. Like the closest I got on the piano was Willie the Whale. My father wanted me to play the trumpet. Not the horn, I got accustomed to playing, but you know what I'm saying? I would feel so inadequate if you pushed me out on stage. Like, I would love to play electric guitar, but I think if I had become a musician, I would have been dead in, well, there's one quantum version of me that died as a rock star in the 80s and one later in the 90s. Can you dig it? Mal, right? Yeah, no. Studio 54 was still active. I'd be dead, right? So I get that fear of inadequacy thing there. You are learning. This is a learning process. That voice, like you could say, even though I'm feeling uncomfortable, that I'm feeling inadequate, and I don't like feeling inadequate, this needs more love, not less. It's like this needs love like everything else, this voice inside of me. It's something to be healed on the path of true love. What's at the core? That should help. Good. You've got the 10 of Flames. So there is a place of interior completion, which might very well be timing or bringing in this new physical thing on the outer. So it would make sense. A completion of desire on the yin, right on the inside, the core of the reading, 10 of Flames. Something probably celebratory in the sense of, yay, I did it, I got over this, or I healed this, or something that I really wanted within myself has happened, and bringing you this joyful new seed. But, you know, the fear of inadequacy thing might have that, well, I'm not good enough for this thing, and no. No, my masters, clarify this 10 of Flames. What is this about? Okay, the infidelity card with this means that it's at the end. Like whatever, now infidelity, yes, of course there is the romantic sexual aspect of infidelity. That's what's depicted in the card. But what about not being honorable to yourself? What about not honoring yourself? Which is definitely what's going to feed a fear of inadequacy or starve a sense of self-worth. Oh, it's so deep, right? No, it doesn't matter how you look at it, but this is wrapped up. No more of this. It's like you completed the cycle of this, and it might very well be about somebody standing up, most likely you, right? Exorcising the negativity and trusting in the path here and saying, you know what? I'm done. I said to somebody the other day who they're in their late 40s. I'm in my very early 50s. I'm only 51. 52 in September. I don't lie about my age. I try not to lie at all. And I said to him, just wait until you're in your 50s. Something changes. And people have been saying that to me all along. But what changed in me is like, wow, I really didn't care what people thought before. Now it's like, you really don't care, right? So it feels like there's this healing process, but you're still in a learning process. So what's behind you on the path is the Empress. So you're coming from this place. It does make sense that would lead to a new beginning, right? That Ace of Pentacles of joy, most likely a divine feminine energy in your life, most likely your own, a sense of unconditional love, a sense of it's like the inner child feels loved. That's like what I'm feeling in my own body, empathing on this. Like I want to smoke this like an American spirit yellow, right? That just feels really, really good. So whatever, in other words, like I said, exorcism is a form of blessing, extreme blessing. This has that kind of vibe to it, although it might not have been done, in a circle of candlelight and chanting and all of that. No, I'm not going to quote the movie. Not in a reading with my guides here, although the Shecky Collective over there is having a field day. Okay, breathe. My Ascended Masters, can you please clarify this card of the goddess, the Empress, Mawu, in their past? Feeling unwanted, feels like that's been healed. Feels like that the recent past, like that you have really nurtured yourself and been giving yourself the love, the care that you need. Now, I want to clarify, I get your air signs, and Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, Aquarius, and you might have some water in your chart and stuff like this, but this feels very physical. Like, although, yes, we're talking about emotional stuff in that too, it feels like you have been taking care of yourself. And maybe baby steps, but nonetheless, like a baby being born. I mean, in this card, I'm not going to say that this is full-on rebirth here, but maybe a new sense of coming from something larger and bigger that is love. Does that make sense? That you were driven there by feeling unwanted. Some rejection, some abandonment, some neglect turned you inwards to your own heart, your own healing. I mean, I would call this as a witch turning to the goddess and going, Mama, right? And there being that embrace and her giving you, as a result, this new beginning of this Ace of Pentacles. But you still have that fear of inadequacy, which would make sense if you've got feeling unwanted in the past. It's still all in the process of healing. So what's crowning, like the next thing coming in? The Hermit, the wise one, she who rides alone, good. No, don't freak out. That is the best thing to happen on the path of true love, and it's never permanent. I'm not a monk. I could be one. I'm not a monk. I just play one on TV, on YouTube. During this time, I think everybody can relate to that. But, it is going voluntarily. That's the thing. Can you take this joyful opportunity that you're in right now and take it inward with you? Not run away or pull back, but go above it. It's just like the traditional hermit card. He's on top of a mountain. Aquarians have distance. That's their gig. Fixed air, stratosphere, highest point of view, looking down, seeing the larger picture, right? That's why they're humanitarian, egalitarian, save the whales, feed the poor, just the whole 9 yards, A to Z, right? How many angels dance on the head of a pin? They'll think about that crap for hours, right? Just to get that higher point of view. So my Ascended Masters, can you clarify that for them, please? Play. That you're getting time to be single, to actually now play. Now, the Hermit, by the way, doesn't mean you don't have social interactions. I'm a Virgo. I had no social interactions for months, and you know why. I'm not going to say it on YouTube. You know exactly why. But little by little, I'm in New York. I'm on Long Island. Sorry about it. Meow. Sorry. Like, so I've been having some friends. They have to show me their paperwork to make sure that they are negative of certain things, and I don't mean an attitude. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like this is a fun thing. It's like I said, I got a very, very joyful, playful vibe off of this. But even when the cards were hitting the table, very high vibe, very, very high vibe. What's before you on the path? Taurus. Now, first court card of the spread here. Second house, we're looking at, if not, it doesn't have to be Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. That, the gods will tell you that and then give you somebody a totally different sign, right? That's just the trick of it all, the game of it all. But the second house energy is about stability. It's about fertile earth. See, you're fixed air, Aquarius. This is fixed earth, Taurus. Now, you're squares of each other, but it can be a challenge, but you have in common most likely that thing about values. Like, life values are big for Taurus. Like, they don't change very easily on the things that they deeply believe are of value to them. So if they are family oriented, they are very family oriented. You know the type, right? Depending on their placement. A moon maybe more than a rising, right? So let's see. It can be anyone, but definitely go more for that stable, fertile. They want to make things grow, but they kind of want to make things grow their own way, right? So you can grow your own way. Sorry. You can call it another Taurus day. Like Doris Day? Oh, they are passing my crown chakra around in the higher dimensions. My ascended masters, giggling as you are. Clarify this, please. It's a tryst. It's a tryst. This just turned sexual or romantic. Okay, so this might be different instances that you're dealing with on the path, but I am feeling a thematic line here. That, yeah, you are transforming, you are healing. You're being given an invitation by the divine to actually heal through joy rather than sorrow. I know! Go figure. It happens, right? You hear tell of it in legend, that healing, right? But I gotta say that at the root of this, it's because you either got over an infidelity or well, even if you were stuck in a three-way situation and you knew it was torturing you, because I got out of one myself last year, there is that thing of, it's like, it's not even who else, whatever happened to anybody else, everyone's got to be adults about it. Look what I did to myself on this one, the self-induced pain, right? The infidelity to yourself. It's tricky, it's hard, but that's the path of true love for you. And don't expect a hero's journey to be hearts and flowers 24/7. It's not. Life isn't. Life is a balance of it all, right? So, very interesting cross. Let's look at the staff. A tryst with a Taurus. Okay, they're just saying, keep in mind, a tryst, this is a luck card. Like, this is something that may come and go, but there's definitely it's scheduled. Reason, season, or lifetime you won't know right now. It's Path of True Love reading, not here's the rest of the story until you croak. Your lesson. The Phoenix card, the Jean Grey card, run for your lives. You're going through transformation. So you are, but it's even like I said, this doesn't feel like it's so much through suffering. It feels like it's kind of through joy, but let's see. Let's, my masters, come on. Come on, it's going well for them. One card. In clarity for the Aquarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for July 2020 or timeless. Please clarify the Phoenix card, the Death card, in the position of the lesson for them on the path of true love. Delight, because groove is in the heart. Oh my God, this is a great reading. Well, they're all great. I mean, all of my readings. Excuse me, all of my readings are great, but this one's actually fun. Oh, I'm so happy for you guys. Yes, you're going through a delightful transformation, and I'm sorry, they're giving me the word Kundalini. Look it up, Kundalini. You might want to Google it also with the word Tantra, Tantra. It feels like that sort of, this Aquarian Taurus tryst thing. It's going to teach you that you can absolutely transform in a delightful way. Outside looking in, Womp womp. Conflict. Now, it's the Four of Flames, which is the Four of Wands. And people say, no, the Four of Wands is the 1111 card. It's marriage. It's like, maybe. But this is definitely saying there is some creative tension here. This could be not so much a conflict. Well, where you are on the path, the conflict might absolutely be within yourself. Absolutely. Can you please clarify that, my master, since you're telling me anyway? Yeah, loss. All right, the problem card of loss. You're afraid of loss. Who isn't? Who isn't? But loss makes room for new gifts to be received. That's a Matt Contra mantra. Matt Mantra Contra? My God, Matt Con Mantra deck mantra. Wow. Verbal. So yeah, of course you're going to be afraid of loss. Everyone's afraid of loss. Everyone's afraid of loss, but it's part of the cycles of it. And look, everybody has, I've said this so many times this week, everybody could have any combination of these four, what Matt Kahn calls the ego wounds. And I'm not a Matt Kahn teacher. He's a Matt Kahn teacher. But this is stuff I've learned from him that I knew, but I like the way he phrases it. The wound of abuse, the wound of neglect, the wound of codependence, and the wound of loss. Of the first three, abuse, neglect, codependence, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but no one gets away without wounds of loss. No one's trained how to deal with that as a young child, to lose someone, let alone something connected to the heart, right? So huge opportunity for you here, but get that when you start feeling the push and pull on this, I don't know, just bring up the lens of loss and go, am I afraid? What am I really afraid of losing here? And you will be able to name things, but the seasons that go round and round, the painted ponies go up and down. Oh my God, he said as he pulled the Wheel of Fortune. Oh my God, the seasons go round and round. This is the divine timing card. This is the card of destiny. This is the card of fate interweaving in the destiny position. Oh my God, look, it's time. It's time, my Aquarians, for you to move forward in this way. This transformation is absolutely necessary. This feels like, well, we call it a good thing, but the tragedy from the soul's point of view is a good thing too. Not getting what we want is a good thing. It matures us. There's nothing worse than getting what you want and not having the musculature to hold it, right? We've all been there. That's part of... My guide said to me a couple of weeks ago, right before I finally, hopefully, closed the door on what I think is a twin flame, but if they're really a soulmate, they will come back, I guess. Really saying that losing the true love of your life is part of the path of true love. And they're right. It is. But there's also then the gaining of true love, of the true love of your life, right? Equal, balanced. My gods, my masters, my ascended masters, please clarify that card of the Spider Woman, the Wheel of Fortune, how interwoven this all is in the divine plan. That we're looking at a problem here with using, all right? So if you have been used or you have used people, now let me clarify this. We're all taught to do that. That's conditioning, that's not the soul. That's just what we learn, how people use people. Now this, like I said, feels very sexual, romantic, and we've also got the card of infidelity here. So really keep an eye on that. Really pay attention to that. It couldn't have happened any other way. It was part of a story that was written that you were chosen to incarnate, to play out, so that it would train your soul. Really, human incarnation is very much like going to the gym, right? But you're not always on the treadmill, right? They're all different experiences here to have to expand the soul, and not all of them are so painful. But if you can really get that using thing was done either when your own nervous system was so inflamed, or you were so in pain, or so possessed by negative influences, or someone else was, that their soul would never do that. It was the ego, the wounded child, the abandoned child, neglected child, wounded, orphaned child that does stuff like that. And that child needs more love, not less, but it also doesn't need to drive, right? We all make those mistakes, but huge opportunity for you to kind of move past that and to maybe use this experience as fuel on the fire. You know, I worked with these monks, the Ashaya monks, many decades ago, late 90s, early 2000s. And they told the story, and this very well may be true, I don't know, but caravans going across the desert, probably the Sahara, on camels, that there would be somebody scooping up the camel dung as they went. They would save it, dry it, and then throw it on the campfires at night. Now I know, right, the scent alone, who knows? But it does make sense that it is our pain, our suffering, our baggage, that when we throw it upon the light of our consciousness, it burns it brighter, right? So there is no alchemy without lead. There is no alchemy without lead. You could use this. Last card down. Well, not last card down. Your outcome. Bitch. Victory. Victory! So happy for you. 7 of Flames. Speaks for itself. Let's get a clarifier because it doesn't matter what card. It's that victory. It's saying there's a victory in it. Whew, breathe. My Ascended Masters, please clarify this victory card, this 7 of Flames. Last position down. The most possible, probable outcome for the timeline of this lifetime for this Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love. Good timing. Good timing, Aquarius. Totally out of your hands. You had no say about it. I mean, here's the divine timing card in the destiny position. Good timing. Good timing. Just know it couldn't have happened any other way. Now we got 2 more cards to hit the table. Then I'll pop up the whole picture and we'll see what else shows itself. But let's get these last 2 cards down, because if the Matt Contra card comes up, it couldn't have happened any other way. I think that's dispelling guilt or something. We'll see. Breathe. Because first we're going to the higher selves of all involved. With a Whisper of Love Oracle card, please. The higher selves of all involved. 1 card in clarity for the Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for July 2020 or timeless. What is the inspiration, the guidance, the grace from their higher selves and the higher selves of all involved? Be authentic to who you are. Didn't we cover this? Be authentic to who you are. You are asked to be real and true pertaining to who you are and how you feel. You're going to put some people on blast. Maybe you will. But my sense of this is that is really you rising from these ashes with delight. You know, sometimes when we go through the fires of transformation, though it may burn, it are the very chains that we had woven around ourselves that melt away. Oh, that's deep. Stitch it on a pillow, Grandma. Throw it on the couch. All right. Never take yourself that seriously. Never. When shit like that comes out of your mouth, just goes, wow, that was great. Otherwise, it's a good way to avoid the Deus Ex Machina Monty Python foot coming down. Yeah. Hubris goeth before the fall. Breathe. My Ascended Masters, last card down. A Matt KAHN Healing Mantra deck. You know how much we like these. Something that they can work with after the reading. Take with them. Focus their fixed Aquarian minds upon. Please. There you are. My Ascended Masters, what is the perfect healing mantra for this Aquarian Collective? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for July 2020 or timeless, please. Oh, balancing the brain. Interesting. Well, brain, I mean your air signs. Balancing the brain. I can be and do all at once. This is actually a lot about the balance of the brain hemispheres, obviously, but the balance of yin and yang, right? Like masculine, feminine dynamic, all of that stuff, being and doing. Let me read this one to you, because that's what I do. Balancing the brain. I can be and do all at once, you big doobie. When the brain is balanced, you are no longer bouncing back and forth between being and doing. You allow each action to be expressed from a space of mindfulness, peace, and ease, right? So, you know, it's like, well, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to run around the world running errands, and then I'm going to meditate for a little bit. It's like, you get the ping pong of that. You get the ping pong of the yin and yang on that one. Who writes this stuff? You allow each action to be expressed from a place of mindfulness, peace, and ease in a balanced brain. Each inner battle has been won, which makes it easier to navigate around those whose minds are still entrenched in conflict. Got some of those too? That's why I live alone. From this space, you are able to do all that needs to be done while operating from your soul's natural state of being. So it's really about integrating. Because the idea of a left brain and a right brain, of being and doing, is part of the illusion of separation, which we're all under still and we're all dealing with. Cope, right? But this is about being and doing all at once. So there is a unification there. This mantra is ideal for reducing stress at work, being a more mindful parent, I wouldn't know unless you're talking cats, and increasing levels of accountability of your own life. I totally get it. All right, so here's the tea. This is a really powerful read. I'm going to pop up the picture, see what else we see, and I'll give you the blessing at the end. All righty, let's do this. Nice deep breath. Magic clap. Because we start you off here as either you, someone you're dealing with, or the situation yourself, and again, any combination with the exorcist archetype. The shadow attribute of which, fear of facing your own demons. And I have to say, I'm not seeing a whole lot of demon facing here in this. You've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 5, half and half, five problem cards here. And perhaps that infidelity, right? That's at the core here, that's part of that demon that anybody would be afraid to face. But the light attribute, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. And I think that's why we see such a turn here to the positive, if you want to say cards of grace, cards of luck. So looking at you, the card that covers you, every other position here is about the path. You are in this place of the Ace of Pentacles with joy. All right, there is a grace card there, the grace of joy. Let that in. Joy is our natural state. It is actually foundational. So whatever it is that you've come from in that fourth position of feeling unwanted, but with really the goddess energy of the Empress there, you really have been, if not reborn, born. But it's interesting because you got the death card in the lesson position too. So maybe you're learning from the death you've already just been through. Or are going through. I don't know, it's hard. That's going to play itself out differently. My guides always remind me, stop trying to find the specific in the general, Mark. There's too much of it. The situation that you're in, what's crossed your path, the Eight of Pentacles, the learner with a fear of inadequacy. And remember, baby steps. Nobody starts with a quadruple pirouette day one in a ballet class, and if they are, well, screw them. What's going on at the core here is this Ten of Flames with infidelity, that you've either completed a cycle of infidelity within yourself, or you've really put an end to an infidelity situation, at least your attachment to it on the inside. That would make sense with the Hermit in your crown, but we'll get there. Excuse me, you got a little Hermit in your crown. Coming from, again, this place of the goddess, this place of the Empress, this place of, that healing, divine, feminine, grounded, very Taurian, I will say, because you've got Taurus here as well. Can be maternal, but very fixed, yet very Venusian, right? That's what I was saying. There's very Venus here, very goddess energy, very divine feminine. The Empress is the combination, the amalgamation of all the queens. This would be all the mothers in the deck. But then that really gives rise to that sense of rebirth of joy in your present, but also what's crowning now is you're coming into this time of playful hermitage. Now, hermits, remember, go by choice. They are not in exile. They go voluntarily. But there's something about play here that you might be playing the field, keeping your symbolic, I don't want to say virginity, but your symbolic hermitage to yourself, and really watching your boundaries while having a good time, which I think is, a great way to learn. It's like, I'm going to have fun, but I'm going to learn what my boundaries are. And of course, I'm going to, drop the ball or someone else's here and there. And we're going to learn from that. And that moves you into this tryst with this Taurus vibe here. Second house, yes, sure, abundance, prosperity, all of that, but also values. So you might have come from a very cheaty situation with that infidelity, or situations where you really had to dishonor yourself in order to get along. Who doesn't at some point? But now coming into something that might be a lot more stable, perhaps a lot more stubborn, but with certain values in place that can lend to the time needed to slow things down and use that fertility to grow something of great value and worth. Your lesson here is the delight of the death card, right? You got delight, a luck card, that you're rising from the ashes here, rather than going to, most likely, is one of that could be a lot of fun and delightful as you go along. And I do feel like the emergence with this Taurian energy character in your life may be part of that. You know, you might want to say no. Well, you might not commit right now with that hermit crowning, but you might say, well, I can play. Well, let's play. Let's chat. Let's zoom. Wow, that has more meanings now than it did at the beginning of the year. From the outside looking in, yes, there are conflicts here, but the conflicts are of loss, right? If we were to look at you on your path, we look at somebody who is dealing with loss and is in conflict, and yet moving forward. Of course, we all have wounds of loss, and not that this person is going to make that pain go away, but that doesn't mean they can't companion you as you go, as you what? Free yourself and others of destructive impulses that may be coming from this conflict from past losses. As well as here in the Destiny position. You got the Destiny card, in my opinion, the Wheel of Fortune, right? The Spider Woman. That this is a pivotal time, but you can't screw it up, you can't slow it down. Just act according to your highest conduct. Make sure your conduct is in alignment with your highest wisdom. This is the hero's journey, after all, and keep an eye out for that using, which the only positive card, the only positive definition I can pull out of there, or interpretation, I should say, is really using this time and saying, you know, I'm not using, have I been used? Have I used other people? Well, then this is where that ends. This is where I'm going to use this to move forward on my path in a more noble, honorable way as a single person, and trusting as I go, learning as I go what my new boundaries are. And really, your last card in the Celtic Cross, the outcome is the card of victory. The Seven of Flames, right? Galloping on lava with fire in your hands and lightning striking with good timing. So whatever it is you had to go through, though it might have been a long time or really painful, couldn't happen any other way, needed to happen that way. So now I get this angel of trust, right? The healing angel is like, can you trust again? Can you trust that you will not lose? Well, I can tell you right now, death, divorce, and distance. The 3 Ds, loss happens. It's written in. It's written in before you're ever born. It's written into the characters we play. And we lose on all different things. But remember, we also lose things that are unwanted, right? Like illnesses and debts and burdens. So take that into consideration, that there is a trust issue here, that perhaps you have lost your trust, but you can regain your trust in the process by being authentic to who you are. If you are really trustworthy and telling people up front, look, this is what I've been through, maybe not first date conversation, you know, but this is what I've been through, this is what I'm into, this is where I want to go, really, and I'm still iffy on some of it, I'm playing the field, then you're being asked to be real and true pertaining to who you are and how you feel. Bingo. That may not preclude people from trying to use you, but at least you know you're being honorable. And that's like trying to throw a shadow at the sun. And with this balancing of the brain, your mantra, I can be and do all at once. Like I can be single and I can be free and I can take my time with this and do what happens. You know, like and come from more of that stable, loving, calm, soulful place, respecting, acknowledging, and welcoming what comes, but also with clear, solid boundaries on the path of true love. It's a lot of words, I know. But the guides take over at that point towards the end of it, just plugging it all together. It's like an old-fashioned switchboard. They're connecting it all. So, May the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love for July 2020 or timeless. It's a great reading. May they be blessed with everything they need to heal, to grow, to love, to become the best that they can be, to regain their own trust, to balance the brain, to be authentic to who they are, and really, in good timing and delight, have this playful tryst, allowing this seed of joy to grow within them for their well-being and for the well-being of all concerned. May we all be so blessed, so motivate. And so it is. Wow, great reading. Thank you so much, Aquarians, for watching. Please do subscribe, like the video, hit the notification bell, and all that jazz. Wishing you the very, very best and the very, very blessed of the path of true love for July 2020, timeless whenever you're watching this. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.